Okay, so welcome back to the review. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to not only solve, not like what I'm doing, to create methods. So either if you don't know how to solve a cube or you want to make methods that are faster or your own method, it's going to be my tutorial. I'm using the 4x4 because it has lots of different ways. I don't know why I did a whole scramble when I could just show you the section I want to go to. I'll show you how I created my most popular method, which is solving a 4x4 layer by layer, which also works on every big cube. Basically, it's a little bit different on 5x5, but then, you know, I'll just get it real quick. So I would get the edges. It's just how I figured it out. It just was getting edges, simple task. Then, I was going to need a way to obviously get corners, which I already figured out simple. It is like the first difficult thing I created. I'm just going through it because I decided to scramble it all the way. But yeah, so what I needed to do was figure out. So the main thing I'm going to be teaching you how to make algorithms and stuff. What I needed to do was figure out how to get these centers over here. It actually took me a bit, but it's actually pretty simple. Just you push this up. I figured it out by looking at where it could go, really, ways you can get in, and that's one simple way you can get in. And it's not much of an alg. Now I know a bit more. That's one thing. One way how I create algs is using similar algs to other cubes, or using the exact same alg from other cubes. Or, so like this. This is basically just a way, like beginner's method way of getting the second layer on a free referee. And I used it, but changed like one move for like getting extra pieces. And that's how I would get the first 3 layer edges. Then this is going to be the main part. When I create algs, sometimes there's some ways I'll do it. First, do a random sequence of moves to try to figure out a way that it would change it. So, let me solve it real quick. Solve these edges. I'm not gonna. Yeah, how I figured out this alg was a random sequence of moves. I was trying to figure out a way to get these swaps. So I was doing random sequences of moves until I figured it out eventually, and it swaps these two. That was one way. Another way you can do it, you can use algs similar to algs. Like, so an alg I use, it basically swaps these 3. It's basically just, let me get it. If you look on a 3x3, that alg is just this. And then I can change up similar algs. Or another way is to figure out ways, like using things I already know. So like how I got the centers, this is one way I can create an alg. So if I got the centers like this, I can learn to figure out that. Maybe if I did something like that moved it a little bit, then we get the center back. So how I can think of this is, so we take this center out, then we figure out a way to put the center back in a different way than just like reversing the moves I just did. So if I did something like this may look strange, but it could eventually work. Then you see it did moved around pieces. So if I wanted to use that in my method, I could use it because it moved around pieces. So if you look what pieces it moved around: green, orange, blue, and red. Yeah. So, and other ways, like maybe something like this. Figure out best way to figure out algs is usually doing something by messing it up, then finding a way to fix it without just reversing the move. So like that. That actually might be a good one. Actually, I might want to use that one. I'm trying to. So. and like something like this. I don't know what I'm doing, honestly. I'm a bit confused. One way I did it mainly for my skew method was, and some other methods, was the lookup algs. So like for my 2x3 blindfolded method, I got my 2x2x3. So for that method, I actually looked up an alg form of advanced method. I looked up advanced method alg, and found an alg that swaps these two pieces, and I used it. I'm actually gonna fix the rotation of this camera in a second. Okay. And I used it. The same way sometimes you can use other algs like lookup algs. I remember there was one time I looked up 3x3 algs for a method and I realized there's a really way simpler way to do it. Sometimes you need to look up algs if you want to make a method to use it. But that's normally if you know how to solve the cube and just want a faster method to make. And that should be mostly it. You create algs like that, and it would makes it yeah. Other ways use like yeah. Okay, so thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. This is in the video.